Hello and welcome. We just got a new update for the Waldorf M synthesizer. In version 1.10, we got 4 new oscillator algorithms, and in this video I would like to show you what you can do with them and create some patches. Let's explore the new oscillator modes by creating an init patch. I hit Shift and Recall to get the init sound. Let's make sure that we have only oscillator 1 playing. And from here, we need to switch the oscillators into the new algorithmic mode. We can either hit the mode button a few times. You see that it toggles from microwave 1 mode into microwave 2 mode, and from there into the new algorithmic mode. It would also be possible to go to the oscillator page and move to the page where it says oscillator 1 and 2 tweaks. And here we can also change the oscillator mode. Next, I go to the wave page and make sure that I am changing the parameters of wave 1. And here we need to move to the page where it says wave 1 meter. And here we can change the new algorithmic mode. The first one is called MVA, which means virtual analog. And if we play a note, we can change the sound with the wave knob. And this moves from a sawtooth at 0 to a pulse and to a triangle. And then you see that we also have a new parameter here called meter. And with this one, we can do a pulse width modulation. So if we are in the middle position where we have the pulse, we can change the pulse width with the meter knob. And what I really like a lot is that we have a mod source and mod amount directly here on that page. So if we want to have a pulse width modulation, we can just go and select LFO1 and then dial in the modulation. And from here, we can very easily and quickly design a nice pad sound by increasing the attack and the release. Maybe bring down the filter, add some movement to the filter. Of course, we can do the same thing with the second oscillator by moving to wave 2. Also select this mode and maybe go to the sawtooth and detune it a little bit and mix it with oscillator 1 to have a nice detuned timbre. This sounds nice. I think I will save it and upload all the patches that I make in this video so that you can import them into your own Waldorf M synthesizer. I really like this because I think it's a sound that was not possible on the Waldorf M before. Of course, we had sawtooth and square wave oscillators on the wavetables before, and also on these kind of last steps of the wavetable, but not like this, not with the pulse width modulation and the ability to blend in between the sounds. Very nice. Let's move over to the second new oscillator mode by creating a new init patch, selecting the MVA mode, and on oscillator 1, go to the algorithmic page and select the CSAW. This is a quite subtle thing. You will not hear a huge difference when I change the wave parameter. It's described as that the wave parameter regulates the width of the overpeak in the beginning of sawtooth from 0 to 5%, mapped to 0 to 63 of the wave parameter. Yeah, so this gives you quite a lot of different timbres with sawtooth waves. Let's move to the third new mode, which is the fold mode. As the name tells, it's a wave folder. Let's create a new init sound and activate the algorithmic mode. And on the wave page of oscillator 1, I select the fold mode. First thing you need to decide is whether you want to use a sawtooth or a triangle. So at the left end of this, we have a sawtooth, and here we have a triangle. And from here, we can use the meta parameter to increase the depth of the wave folder. So now this is a plain and simple triangle wave, and if I increase the meta parameter, you hear a wave folding thing going on. This can be very interesting when modulated, for instance, by the filter envelope. So let's create something which slowly rises and then falls back to a given value. The same sounds very different when I use the sawtooth. In my opinion, the wave folder does not really sound well with a sawtooth. It doesn't make much of a difference. In the mutable instruments module, it's also possible to do this with a sine wave, which is, in my opinion, a much better way of having a wave folder. But I think with a triangle, we can still do interesting sounds. We could also apply an LFO, of course. Notice that the filter is doing nothing. It's on fully open. So this wave folder gives you a quite dark timbre on its own. So this could be used for like a piano-like sound. I could give it some stereo width by also modulating the panorama within LFO. Of course, it gets interesting when you just take two of these. If I put the fold oscillator on oscillator 2 and maybe modulate it with another LFO, because we have two here, we could have a nice timbre here as well, and I could tune it 5 semitones up. No, 7 semitones. Yeah, why not? I will save this one and call it Fold Piano. The fourth new mode is called 3SAW, which is a stack of 3 sawtooth oscillators. Let's create a new init sound, activate the algorithmic oscillator, and go over to wave 1. And here we can select the algorithm called 3SAW. If we now play something and increase the meta parameter, we can hear a nice detuned stack of 3 sawtooth. With the wave knob, we can regulate the mix between the 3 sawtooths. I must honestly say that I need to turn that down, of course. I must honestly say that I cannot hear that much of a difference, but the meta knob really does a huge difference. So for the first time, we have a huge unison mode. If we also do the same thing to the second oscillator, I think it will be becoming quite interesting. If we tune this 1 octave down and then blend it in with the higher octave, we have a really, really fat sound. Very nice. Of course, it's possible to create very lush sounding pads with it, which was not a strength of the M before, to be honest. So let me use this nice detuned sawtooth thing, and let's add a slow envelope. Modulation. Yeah, this patch works like this. You have this nice unison stack on oscillator 1, and if you blend in oscillator 2, you will get the same thing, but a fifth interval higher. So if you play a chord like this, and then add this one, it will give you some nice overtones. Of course, we could do this with modulation, maybe. But where? Maybe in the mix page? Yeah, that should be Oscillator Mod 2. So let's take... it should be maybe... I don't want to use the wave envelope. It's too complicated. Or maybe we do the wave envelope. So if we go to the wave envelope, it's always a pain to edit this thing. Yeah, so now we're starting without oscillator 2, and then oscillator 2 fades in. If we decrease the... No, that was the wrong page. If we decrease the modulation amount, the effect gets a bit more subtle. If we want this to sound a little bit less beefy, we could also skip the analog filter and on the mix page go over to the digital filter and activate this. Let's see how this sounds. And we can, of course, also modulate this with the envelope. All right. I hope you enjoyed my walkthrough of the new oscillator algorithms. We also have a new MPE functionality, but it's in a quite early stage of development, so I will save this one for a later video and see what we can do with the MPE functions once we have more options available there. All right, so thanks a lot for watching, have a good day, and see you soon.